Yo, what's good with you? Back in black with another Enlisted video. If you guys are new to the channel and you love shooting games just like me, make sure you aim for that like button and hit that subscribe button as well to help you find better teammates and improve skill-based matchmaking. At least I hope so. In this video, we're going to be going over all the best perk recommendations for the sniper class in Enlisted. Starting out with the mobility category or the green perks, this might be the only soldier class in the game where I'll tell you that it's actually a good idea to grab the maximum jump height perk, and I'm recommending it for one reason only. I personally feel that as a sniper, it always pays great dividends to be on the lookout for any opportunity to gain some high ground over the enemy. That said, this perk is mostly going to shine on maps with a lot of verticality like Berlin and Stalingrad, where there's a hefty amount of tall buildings with ledges to grab and pull yourself up to provide you with a power position or vantage point over the enemy, not normally accessible or considered by most. Aside from that, you'll definitely want to be grabbing the movement speed while crouched or prone and a change of pose speed perk. Firstly, because the increased strafe speed in a lower profile position has great synergy with extremely low shot deviation weapons like snipers, which allows you to be harder to hit while moving, while still being just as, if not more so, accurate compared to any non-scoped weapon. The faster speed of changing pose just gets you out of dodge faster when trying to avoid suppression or counter sniping. Moving into the second category of the green perks, I'll go ahead and tell you to grab at least one climbing speed perk, because that also has great synergy with the jump height perk, which is rather undeniable without me even going into detail. That and the animation for climbing in this game is annoyingly slow, so if you're climbing multiple objects, it just gets you to where you want to go that much faster so you can actually get to shooting. Aside from that, I would just tell you to go all in on the medpack speed perk, because if you do find a really good vantage point or flank and you end up getting downed in the middle of annoying the enemy team, you'll either want to bandage really fast so you can reposition or keep shooting. With the severely decreased bandaging time, you can severely increase your kills per minute and therefore continue to be the most annoying person to the enemy team, while your team is hopefully pushing in from a different angle to capture the objective. I'm sure some of you were highly considering that aim speed perk, and I used to think that was the way to go as well, but also considering how fast you aim in this game by default, I find that perk loses a lot of its value, especially for how much it costs, and the run speed perk isn't really important when you're considering the distances that you will typically be engaging the enemy at as a sniper. And I'm sure a lot of you know you'd basically be doing yourself a disservice with the sprint speed perk at the bottom, because essentially when you buy that, you miss out on having so much more I guess as far as mobility is concerned. So, you know, do with that what you will. But with all of that being said, we can finally move into the red or vitality perk category, and in the top section, this is another one of those niche times that I'll tell you is actually a pretty solid idea to grab that increased breath holding time perk. What better weapon type is there to actually use this perk on but a sniper rifle, am I right? Like most games, this perk will steady your weapon's sway while you take aim at further targets, and the way bots move in this game, which is sometimes very jank, you will probably be needing that steadiness to get the most out of your bolt action snipers in particular. The only other perk in the first section that I could say you would get a sizable amount of usage out of would be the stamina regen speed. The reduced concussion perk won't really activate often enough, especially if you're fighting at the proper distance that a sniper should be, and the health recovered outside of combat won't really do much for you either, particularly as a sniper, compared to the recommended perks that I'm going to cover in a second here. Moving into the second category, it's funny because when you hover over the auto allocation, they'll try to get you to max out the stability after receiving damage, but I will ask you a rhetorical question. How often have you ever been flinched off of a target with your sniper and didn't just go down or die automatically? I'm sure not very often, so essentially you'd be spending all those perk points to secure what, maybe one kill, maybe, when you could do better things like take cover and have extra health gained whenever you actually use bandages. So I would recommend choosing that perk instead to increase your overall survivability, especially if you are a fan of the large backpack. And for the secondary recommendation, obviously that's going to be increasing your base stamina, because as a sniper you're typically going to be running around the edge of the map and climbing a lot of objects, which can drain your stamina a good bit. So for those climbing and running escapades, that will essentially make it a lot less time consuming, which is something you want to do when it comes to the game of Enlisted. And very much in the same vein as the stability after receiving damage perk, I find that the vitality perk, I say this in pretty much all the videos, but I just find that the vitality perk ends up costing way too much for what it does. And particularly as a sniper, if you get shot and you have extra vitality, that's probably going to let you get maybe like one more kill. And again, unless you're using like a large backpack and you carry 4 medkits, you're not really going to see much of a increased dividend on your sniper usage from that. So again, it just ends up, like I said, costing more than what it's worth for what it does, and you're a lot better off choosing a bunch of the other red perks instead. But yeah, man, you already know, for the last part we gotta cover the yellow or weapon category for our snipers. And like usual, I'm a big fan of anything that reduces the shot spread or shot deviation, which causes you to miss even when you're aiming directly at a target. So I'm definitely going to recommend maxing out that first perk, which is going to be the decreased shot deviation from quick turning. And from there, I know for sure you don't need the increased grenade throwing strength as a sniper. Not to imply that you shouldn't go for a tank if you see it as a sniper, and typically you will be in a good spot to do so, especially if you're hanging around the edge of the map. You can usually sneak up behind them, but I genuinely feel in my soul you don't need extra throwing strength for that. I think you would be a lot better off going with the weapon change speed perk, because that will allow you to pull out your pistol faster, or if you're lucky enough, maybe you have a sawed-off shotgun, and I think you can fare a lot better with that because your scope weapon usually will not do you much good in close quarter situations. So, just my extrapolation from that. And very much like my rifleman perk video, the second category of the yellow perks is the only one with a little bit of variability based on the type of sniper rifle that you are using. In lower BR, snipers will be bolt operated, therefore recoil isn't much of a factor to be considered in your perk selection. With that in mind, you can easily opt for the bolting speed to increase your rate of fire, and the reloading speed as well, which is very cumbersome on bolt action rifles in particular. But once you get into the higher BRs, particularly for the Germans and the Russian factions, you'll start getting your hands on the semi-auto and even fully auto scope weapons. That said, the bolting speed perk is now useless, and you can easily know that you should swap that out for the vertical recoil control perk to get more shots on target quicker, in succession that is. Reload speed will still come in handy regardless, and I'm sure most of you who put a lot of time into taking a really long flank hate for that effort to be for naught. So I would also recommend increasing your survivability with the greater chance of going into a downstate perk as well. A lot of people in my comment section will hate on it, but it literally has great synergy with the bandaging speed perk from the green section and the health recovered from bandaging from the red section. So if it's something that makes you live longer, I don't know why some people are so opposed to it, but me, I do highly recommend it, and I can say that it does indeed increase my life expectancy when I run the sniper class in general. So yeah, man, with all that being said, after my extensive testing from my stream the other day, and after recalling on all my sporadic sniper experience over the years of playing this game, this is the best perk setup that I would recommend to provide the most success on the battlefield. But that's not all. If you guys would be interested in learning a little bit more about the mindset of how to play snipers effectively in this game, please do check out the video on the left hand side of the screen, or you could check out my sniper stream from the other day as well on the right. And other than that, I do appreciate you guys very much for watching. If you found anything I said informative or entertaining, or both, don't forget to aim for that like button and shoot that subscribe button as well. If you know anybody that really likes to play snipers, do feel free to share this video with them as well. I'm sure they will appreciate it. And yeah, man, other than that, I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your day. Black Guy out.